Good morning, SMF Street Trader. On your live trades, getting hit down here at the bottom. They faded that gap. What you're going to look at is they take this bar out right here. This is the bar that they take out half of that bar. We've already bought some live shares to show you how it's done. And that's this part of the video right there. And basically we're going to add some more shares to it as we put that bottom in. Let me pull the chart back up so that you can see it. And here's the chart in our platform. And basically that's the level 2. Now, once again, you're going to have to go down here to this part of the platform. And here, we're going to start adding on the dips to the trend. That's what we're going to do there in the level 2 so that we can scale that move, but we have to get a closing bar above half of that bar until we have to. And so basically until we do, the bottom remains fragile. We have to close above half of this down bar right there, MMTs. SMF traders, once again, that half bar in your platform is 283.39. And in order for this move off of this particular bottom, off of that short top, is we got to close above half of that bar in your info panel. And you can see that in your platform. So basically what we're doing is that this 3-minute bar right here, half of that bar is at 283.22. During the level, bid and ask level, which is over here in your brain, that's the stock market bid and ask. You want that to be working a certain way, and you want your bid and ask trend ratios going positive here. That's what is how you're going to validate it. So you want to read your info panel on what those bars are. Half bars calculated. You got your intraday ratio. You got to go above 45. So you have that here in your info panel. There's your bid and ask ratio, which is also up there that you'll be trading with. You got half of that bar, and as long as half of that bar is mathematically going up, as you can see, it calculates it automatically for you. MMTs, SMF MMTs, stockmarketpundit.com. Listen, for the new people, this needs to go north of 35, okay, for price to go higher. That's what has to happen. Here's the 3-minute chart. Here's half of the bars. So basically half of this bar right here happens to be at 283.52. And you can see that the bid and ask, which is right here in the equity, is right there. We have it timed right there. So we know what has to happen in the platform. MMTs do. Okay, and once again, it's a direct market maker platform. SMF MMT Trader, right there in the title bar. Apple 3-minute chart, and what goes on in that brain. As we build a bottom in within a volatility, we're in at 22 pennies right there on 100 shares, just to show people that you scale a bottom. And you, so we broke half below here. That's not good. This is the support level down here at this bottom in this info panel. And that's 283.22. 283.22 right here. So we have that, and we're coming down on it, and we have to hold half of that bar right here. So basically that's 283.22. Let's move this over. Let's take a look at the prints. They have pulled back. We have to hold half of that bar. That intraday range has to be above 25 in order for this teeny price to hold in the system. You must go north of 25, and the bottom comes into play when we get down toward 15 in the range and lower. So we need to tick up in the value of the intraday range, and we're at 15. Right to the mark, and it tells you 15 here, and it tells us what we're doing there. So basically, as we fall down in the intraday range, we are undercutting half of the bar. That makes the move weak. We're open 15 minutes. This thing went down, and the red candle, the barrel candle went down. When you drop below that range, down below 15, this is where you come back and test relative to price. So basically, Apple has some more selling. We're going to see a price is made again between 0 and 5. Intraday range over here was 42. So we're going to get made down here, and we have to go north of 15 here to get back up. And that's in with the volatility of its opening bell in the first 15 minutes. And you don't try to be a hero on shorting these gaps, because that's what they did, was they shorted the gaps on the open. But we have a nice range. We know what has to happen in the brain. We know how we're going to try to identify making this price down in here. And I will pause the tape for a minute as we work through the live orders using that going north of 25. Okay, taking out half of this down bar. Let's see what that bar is. That bar there is 283.19. So we need a closing bar above 283.19 needs to hold. We're back up in the money. We got to close. This is how the bottoms get put in. Confirmation of it in the system is that intraday range is popping. I'm going to be adding when I get a chance. I want to close above half of that bar. I already told people what that bar was. Half bar is 283.19. We went straight up with the wick. And the thing about it is, you have to stay north of 25 in the SMF intraday range reading. Another thing is that you've got to tick positive in the ratio. You can't be having a negative ratio. They don't go together. That's this ratio over here in the chart. This can't be going in the wrong value. It has to go in the right value to give this price stability here at this bottom. You have to close above half of that bar, and it sold into it. And we're back down to 0 by 5, 0 by 3, right here at that teeny support line. SMF MMTs, we want to close above half of this bar now. And basically, we know what our intraday range was between 0 and 5 and how that price was made. We do know that if we go north of 25, we go higher up here. So we've been putting in this bottom using the platform, and half of this bar once again is 283.15, and we need to stay north of 25 here like we are, and I'll update in a moment. Right now the time is 6:55 a.m. The time stamp in the application on that bar was 9:51 a.m. Alright, half of that bar there has to go, it closes above. The higher it closes above here, the higher that it closes above, that's this bar here. That means that that momentum, the higher that we close above that bar here, I'm sorry I didn't have it in the video, but the higher we close above that bar, and we're going to go north of 45, buddy, we're getting it on. And once again, this is how you put a bottom in, and that's why we're doing this with our system. And everything is right in here, and you're going positive in here. Let's take a look on the tape. When this goes up in value, this candlestick will go up in value in the SMF platform. It's designed for your well-being and how prices are made at bottoms, so that you're very certain about what you're doing during the bottoming. But you know that that intraday range has to get north of 35 now and hold above 25, so that this has got some momentum being built into it, some momentum in the actual current 26 minutes of this opening bell, with a 3-6 reversal down to that teeny line in our mathematical system right there. We got to run north. We got to run north of 35, and we'll tick right up. Look at here, 38. See how the bar goes up? C40, new MMTs. This is why it's easy to do this business, because it's calculating the move right here for you on your execution that you're in, and how do you add to more shares, and how does a stock get a bottom? What is that bottom, and what does the system tell you, and why was that bottom put in as we were doing it? And we still need to get above half of this bar. Let's not forget that. And half of that bar right here, if I if I double click on it, I've got to scroll down and find the blue. There it is. Here we go. Half bar is 283.39. And I know that. And that half bar just so happens to be right down here in my info panel. And I know what was going on there, MMTs. And I know how the system will tell you that you got to go north of 35 in order to go higher. But this is how the bottoms are put in. That intraday range right there was 6. Intraday range over here, and that's where it recorded it in the system. You can see here in those, that intraday range was 21 and climbing. Okay? Because it was. Once again, MMTs, in your range right here in that black box, you went to 15 and now you're above 25, and this is how you hold price stability, and you want to watch that so that as I teach you how prices get weaker or stronger in the directional movement, that you're pennying up and pennying down. So being down here at the bottom is the right thing to do as the bottom is being put in. But we have to go north of 25 here. We're now at 15. So at 15, that candle's weak. Back on the video, we're well above the entry again, and we're well above 30. We're going up to 35 on the intraday range. And that's how these bottoming prices get put in, MMTs. That's because we're working our system. We are not working their system, which is the public system. That's up here. We're working our mathematical equations. Everything is going in the right direction. What we're doing is that we're above 45.50. We've got lots of people in on that bottom. This is how bottoms are put in. Look at your brain activity. You're going, the bid and ask trend ratio is ascending in value. When this goes up in value, that you have the bigger move in the equity price. So if this goes to 4, goes to 5, or goes to 10, you really get a big move. And that's the mathematical ranges for the MMTs, relative strengths that go along with their actual charting application over here. And learning how to put a bottom in volatility and using the brain in the trend ratios and everything else, not to mention that it's already got the mathematical prices for them. It's already populated in here. And basically, we're very weak in that bid and ask trend ratio. That has to ascend in value. Otherwise, you're going to have weakness in the stock price. Okay? And I've got to close above half of this bar. Once again, it's how a bottom tries to get put in. And the strength of bottoms. And I am going to highlight half of this bar. And I'm going to find out what candle that is. It's this one right here. 283.30 right there, MMTs. That have to happen. That's half of this bar. So as long as I'm closing above 283.30, which I'm exactly right now about 18 pennies above that bar, and if the higher I close above half of that bar, right here, I'm sorry, let's get it in the video. The higher that I close above half of that bar of 283.30, and I get north of 45 in the intraday range, I'm going to go higher. But I would like to consolidate price action in the brain at this higher level here now. That would tell me the momentum is building for a big breakout. Here we are. We're finally breaking above half of that bar, and we're going up that way there. We're going to look at that the intraday range has to stay north of 45. 35 would hold in the pricing mechanism. The thing that the MMTs did was that they used the system, and everything that is designed in the raw pricing system and what their teenies mean and what all of these numbers and ratios mean is what they trade. They know for this move to go higher that you got to go up to 5 here on that bid and ask ratio. That would be a nice move. So intraday, Apple just has a weak bottoming price, where at other times you go down and you might bounce up $4 in a matter of 3 minutes. It happens all the time. So this particular pricing control is all based on the SMF intraday range and all of its mathematical